What's happening, family? Dr. Joe here. Happy Sunday evening, and I hope each of you are well and blessed. We greet you on today. So glad all of you guys are here. It was several of you always already waiting in the group, and I see your faces up in the place and want to salute each of you and glad everyone is here. Now, I want to take some time to welcome everyone. We got three different groups of people who are here. A, you are a current participant in the 40-day turnup. B, you are a former graduate of the 40-day turnup or the journey. Or C, you are a person, perhaps you've heard about this process. You're a friend with someone who's come through the process, in the process, or perhaps you may want to be a part of a future session. Well, regardless of which one you are in, glad each of you are here, and we are excited about tonight's Village Chat. I'm Dr. Joe. I'm the author and founder of the world's greatest transformational process, the 40-day turnup, and the journey, which falls under the auspices of 40 Days with Dr. Joe. All right, I'm excited because when I was in my late 20s, I was 330 pounds. I had a lot of medical concerns, issues, pre-diabetic, high cholesterol, uh, pain in my knees. I just got tired of being tired. I worked on myself. I made adjustments to my lifestyle. I lost 130 pounds. And in that process, I learned that the vast majority of my issues were emotional, psychological, mental, and spiritual. And by taking what I learned through that process and converging it with my knowledge of nutrition, I started the 40-day turnup, the journey first, and then the 40-day turnup. And it's been something that has really, really positively helped to transform the lives of many, many people. So that's what the 40-day turnup is. That's what the journey is. That's the first thing. The second thing is we have what's called the Village Chat. Village Chat is our opportunity to present a participant that is actively in a process. That's why we have different seasons, because we have three different processes each year. The groups come through in cohorts. So when we're doing that, we always have these weekly episodes during an active session. So we had season 1, episode 1 on last week, and we have season 1, 2023, episode 2 this week. I'm excited because the person that you are about to meet is an active participant in the 40-day turnup process. He is doing well in the process, and he is someone who I have a history with. And I'm going to wait till we bring him on camera and on to tell you exactly what it is. So I want to present to some and introduce to others Byron, aka Tony Harper. What's up, Tony?
What's
How you
going
feeling?
on, Doc?
You doing
Man, best
good?
day of my life. Yes, sir.
All right. I'm glad you're doing well. Your internet, I think, is kind of a little choppy. So try to see if you can. There you go. That's better. All right, you're kind of going out. How you feeling this evening?
Man, doing great.
Good to see you, man. Thank you for being a part. Now, a lot of people don't know you and I have quite a history, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, gang, what I want you all to know is I've been in ministry since 1998, and this gentleman that you see has been an active part of my ministry since 1999. I've known him since I was 13 years of age, and he's been my right hand in ministry for 98% of my ministry. So he's a very, very special person to me. He's very, very valuable to our ministry, and I'm glad to have. He's been a long time, hasn't it, T?
Yes, sir. We rocking and rolling.
I know, man. You turn around and 20, almost 25 years goes by like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I know that's right. Well, you have an interesting story. Let's first start off by telling the people who something about you. Tell them who you are, a couple things about you, so they'll know exactly who you are.
Um, First of all, I have a 18-year-old daughter that's at Emory. I'm a father. I'm employed with ADT Security, and I have my own business. It's called Harper Signature Styles, a men's clothing company.
Awesome. Now, talk to us about what's a day in a life for you. What does a typical day look like for you?
Typical day with ADT. I get up in the morning. I'll go to my appointments. Um, may go to a staff meeting, and on Mondays, in the evenings, I come back and I may meet some clients with my Harper signature style. So it's kind of like, doing both things. One is a 9 to 5, and the other one is a hobby. But I've been in the clothing business for 33 years before. So that's one of the things that I love to do.
And when I met you, that's what you were doing. So,
Yeah, yeah.
man, you kept a lot of people casket clean, right?
Yeah, Doc. I've met a lot of influencing people, and it's been very, with your father and your brother and yourself. It all started with the clothing business because that's the heart, that's my passion.
It is. And it's something you're very good at. And we'll talk more about that. Now, gang, to those of you all who are listening, I think, and I want you all to really, really pay attention because I believe that Tony's testimony and his story is going to help a lot of you. But what I want to do is I want to go back to the beginning because I want to take you guys through his journey on this journey. I think it's very, very important. And I want to be certain that we tell the story at each interval so you guys can see, because I think a lot of you guys are going to learn something about this. Now, what a lot of people don't know, T, is you were a part of the first journey class. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the picture up on the screen. A lot of you all have seen this. It's not the best resolution, but this was the first journey graduating class. And if you look at me in the middle, Tony is right behind me. You'll see him. All right. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 men, and it was 3 females. This was the first graduating class. So Tony, our interviewee this evening, has been there since day one of this process. He's seen every single change, every single stage, every single trimester of this particular process. So, T, I wanted them to see that, and I'm gonna take it off to where me and you can be back on. How was it? Talk to us about that first class. Like, how was it when we introduced that to you? What did you feel about that?
One of the words, if I could describe it, was wow. It was a process it was new to everybody, but it was something that was different because it was something that you had talked to us about, the guys that's in the group, and we went through the process, and it was more so we didn't really know what it was, but I trusted you, and I was like, I'm gonna try it and I'm gonna do it, but that was something that I just believed in you. If you said it, was gonna work, I believe you. I mean, I believed that it would work.
What were some experiences that you remembered from that, from the camaraderie, from anything that happened? Is there anything that comes to mind when your mind goes back a decade?
Two things: that nasty Arden Garden detox juice that we have to drink, and I still talk to my buddy from back then. I still talk to him today. We talk maybe 2 or 3 times a month, but we still stay in contact with each
Was
other.
it MJ? Who
No,
was it?
Kevin Connor.
Kevin Connor. That's right. So
Kevin Connor.
Kevin, Tony's buddy is right here. If you guys look at him, let's see. There he is. Hold on. He's right here. Does that come up on screen, T? That
Yeah,
was
that's Kevin. Yeah.
that was his buddy. So that's interesting. Wow. Now, do you remember, Tony, when we were kind of going through the process, the results that the guys were getting?
Man, I remember
Talk about
Kevin.
it. Yeah,
I remember the day we got the results with the cholesterol, and Kevin started screaming.
yeah,
And I was like, bro, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? He was like, man, and my blood cholesterol ain't never been this low. And I was
yeah,
like, wow.
yeah,
And then we had Dr. Dre with all the statistics and stuff. And it was like we had a real strong brotherhood with all the guys that were going through the process.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. Now, from that, now what a lot of you all have to understand is this: the journey preceded the 40-day turn up. We didn't start the 40-day turn up did not come to fruition until 2017. January of 17 is when it started. But so the 40-day turn up came out of the journey. So Tony, now another thing I want to say is, gang, this particular class that you all see, this is the class that we hired a statistician from Morehouse School of Medicine, came in. And if you look at this gentleman right here, this is Dr. Andre McShann. He's a very, very integral part of this process. This gentleman right here is a medical doctor. He and his beautiful family live out in Birmingham, Alabama. And he was the first person who came to me and said, you know, Dr. Joe, if we're going to do this, and if you're going to do this, he says, you got to test it. He says, you got to have science behind it. He says, because if it's not tested and if it's not scientific, nobody's going to take it seriously. So what this gentleman did is he used his resources, and we're telling y'all a great story, where he got his company to come out and they did pre-test and post-test. All of us were tested before we started, and everyone was tested after they started the process. And we looked in three different categories. We looked in physical categories, so like a biometric screening, blood sugar, A1C, weight, waist circumference, weight, cholesterol, etc. We had emotional testing, and then we had spiritual testings to where there were actual instruments and tests that had to be produced in order to test it. And it was after this particular group that Tony was in that established all of the analysis that we were able to say, hey, this process works, and this is the science that's behind it. So that's some history for you guys. And Tony, after this, if you recall, that's when it began to grow. Do you remember that?
Yes,
When you
sir. I
started
remember.
to see the explosion of the journey, talk to us about that, because I want the people to hear this.
The explosion of the journey um, was amazing because we were having the classes, like our Saturday classes, were coming to the church, and
Yeah,
we were doing it at the church. And I remember it started off with about maybe 100, then it started off to maybe 300 or 400, then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
yeah,
And then that's when it just was like firecracker, boom, and it just
yeah.
exploded.
Exploded. And gang, I want y'all to remember, um, and Tony's going to attest to this, is if you guys look at this picture, one of our traditions was whenever we had graduation, we all wore white. T, you remember that?
Yeah.
And you guys can see it in this picture. Everybody had on white. So when the group started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, there were graduations where the whole church was full and it was a sea of white. Tony, am I telling the truth?
You telling the truth, Doc.
So this was amazing. Now, not only were you able to see the inception of the process and how it grew, but you were also able to become a leader.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about that. What was your experience like?
Um, I've served in every capacity as a leadership. I was a leader, a super leader, um, an ambassador, a minister when we had the minister when a person would come on. So I've served in every capacity. And as a leader, it's like engaging and you're taking a lot of the things that people are dealing with the journey and with the 40-day turn up. You're taking a lot of that and it's like in your heart So it's things that you have to really be grounded. You have to know that it's something that you can't play with. If you're not serious about it, you can't play with it as far as being a leader.
Yeah,
Because people
yeah.
are going to depend on you about with advice and different things that you're encouraging and doing things with them.
Did you feel that being a leader helped kind of re-establish that accountability in your life?
Oh, most definitely. Being a leader made me say to myself, if they could do it, I can do it. And
Yeah.
once the leadership was like, it's more so of a accountable saying, when they're looking at me, I'm looking at you to do right, but they looking at me to stay right.
Right. Right. I remember that. Now, I want to talk about your successes. You came through the process, and not only did you do well, but you lost like a ton of weight. Talk to the people about what results you got when you came through.
I lost 43 pounds in 38 days when I went through the process, and was very successful. Blood pressure went down. I felt 10 times better, when I went through the process.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Do you feel that it was something that was like when you got the program and when you got the process, the programmatic parts of the process, it was something clearly you were able to follow and get great results?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Now, what I want to do now is I want to talk and I want to set this up because, gang, I want everyone who's watching this to pay attention. Tony and I have already talked. I've asked him about his comfort level in having this conversation. He's reassured that not only he's comfortable with this, but that he wants to, because I believe that this part of the conversation is real, and I think it's relevant, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. So, T, when you finished the process after you got great results, you served in the capacity of a leader a couple times, and then that's when you kind of, you weren't active involved in terms of leadership. You had things going on in your life. You kind of lost your way a bit. And what I want you to do is just take some time and talk to us about how you lost your way and what happened. Then maybe we can start there and continue.
One of well, two things that I think that really messed me up. I stopped weighing myself every day. I stopped preparing my food every day. I felt like, I could eat out, and with um going to exercise, I said, well, if I eat out, I just double up. I exercise in the morning, I exercise in the evening.
Yeah.
The other thing was, and this is something that I live by, and I even told my participants, 1 pound leads to 2 pounds, 2 pounds leads to four, four leads to eight, eight leads to 16, 16 leads to 32. And then it's like it's easier to lose 1 or 2 pounds as opposed to losing 32 pounds. So it got to where I got comfortable. And a lot of times when your real process is when the 40-day turn up is over. You don't have Dr. Joe to talk to you. You don't have your leaders. You don't have people that are really concerned about you, holding you accountable. And then not hanging around people that had the like minded that I had. That was one of the things that really I feel like was my downfall.
That's powerful that you shared that, and it's resonated with a lot of people. I want to ask you a question. This morning when we were all meeting together, I won't, of course, get into everything that we talked about, but it's kind of on the subject matter. I asked you guys a question about depression, and I asked you, have there ever been times in your life where you felt depression? And you talked about your most recent battle with your weight, with eating. Would you feel comfortable enough to kind
Almost definitely. Most definitely.
of, all right?
I will admit to everybody, I got up to 383 pounds. Um, I can admit I had a food addiction. I Now keep it transparent.
Yeah.
I love French fries. I could eat French fries every day, but I know that that's something that is my downfall. But I could admit that I had a true food addiction with food, sweets, anything. And a lot of times people don't understand. You eat when you are depressed. You eat when you're happy. You eat when things that you're doing, you're excited. So but I have to learn food can't control me. I have to be able to control the food.
Now, something about you that I know, like you're not a smoker, you're not a drugger, you're not a drinker. Never have been. That's not your motto. That's just not who you are. But to your point and to your own admission, food was your
My
coach.
go-to.
Yeah. So what tell us what types of things would spawn you to eat, or would spawn you to kind of lean on that, because this is important because a lot of people deal with this.
Relationships. Like when you're in a relationship, you say you're in a relationship and you have a breakup. You dealing with that type of stress, and your go-to is to eat, and it's a comfort zone. When you may be dealing with, transparency, you're dealing with a baby mama. You had stressed out about that, so when you're dealing with, I lost my job, during that time. When you going through this process and you have the different stress factors, it's like the first thing you say is grab food, you know, and that was something that I coped to, and that was, that's there's no excuse, but that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that, man. And people, it's resonating with people, relationships, stress, and then a lot of times, like just getting in the habit. Habits are very vicious types of things that we don't realize it's a habit until we're trying to stop it and we can't. And that's something everybody kind of deals with on their own level. And I'm glad you're bringing it up. Now, Tony, before we get to kind of where we are now, I want to go over one more thing. A lot of people are watching this are people who are in the process, people who will come through the process. One thing that you have that they don't is you have stood in their shoes and you've been through the process and you've seen the pitfalls that you made after the process ended. And that's what I really want to focus in on. I want you to kind of take us from when you got out of the process, when it ended, because it never really ends, but when we came to that last week we graduated. I want you to walk us through some of the pitfalls or steps that you did that you, if you have, that when you go back, you're not going to do those anymore. Can you talk to us about that?
Okay, so I would say this: your real journey starts the day after we graduate. That's when your real journey starts.
Let me stop you. Let me stop you. I want all of y'all who are in the process to write that statement down. That's a direct quote from Byron Antonio Harper. Your real process starts the day after graduation. That's powerful. Please continue.
All right, so the day, I would say this, if I had to say what happened to me. Um, I reached my 43 pounds, but I still really wasn't at my goal. And the key to it is that when you reach that weight, if you're not at the weight that you really want to be, don't have a cheat meal. Don't have a cheat day.
Mm,
You have to know where you want to be, because even now I know that I can't, certain things that would trigger me that'll make me just go back to where feel like I have a food addiction again. I can't eat French fries. I know that. I can't have sweets. I know that. So it's like when you go through and you know better, you do better.
mm,
And that's something that's real with me, that I know that if you're not where you want to be as far as the ideal weight, don't have a cheat meal. And that was my biggest thing. And I've talked to Pastor Joe, Dr. Joe, a lot about this. when I had that cheat meal, one cheat meal led to a cheat day. One cheat day led to another. And that's when I felt like you get arrogant because you say, oh, well, I done lost 50 pounds. I lost 30 pounds. And I ain't gonna gain it back. I'll just work out 2 times a day as opposed to working out 1 time.
Mhm.
And you take the time off and you never do it.
Mhm. That's powerful. Gang, at the end of this process, all of you all are going to be empowered with what to do to maintain it. You're going to be empowered with what to do to lose more. We did that, didn't we, Tony?
Yes, most
But
definitely.
but it's up to y'all to listen to what he's saying. Now, this is a person who is a professional. I got success. I made some mistakes, but I know now what to do different so I don't make it again. So each one of y'all got the opportunity to either not listen to what he's saying, forget me, or listen to what he's saying. We're going to give you all types of tips and tricks to follow, but y'all have to be the ones to adhere to it. All right, and we're going to talk more about that. That's rich, and I'm glad you shared that with us, T. So
Mhm.
we talked about our introduction. We talked about where it all started, how you saw the growth, what you felt, your successes, things you did wrong. What brought you to wanting to go in this process to say, hey, I want to come through the 4-day turn up? When we had that conversation, what point did you what led to that decision?
Um, what really led to that decision was I wanted to live
Mm,
and I didn't want to die.
mm,
Was I didn't have any sickness, I didn't have any illness, but I wanted to see my daughter graduate. I wanted to see my daughter get when she gets married. I want to be able to walk her down the aisle, and I saw myself going in self destruction. My clothes stopped fitting. Um, when we went through the pandemic and we came back, it was like you don't have that accountability for one, where you putting suits on every Sunday to go to church. So it was more so of you stay in that lacking and you steady eating. And I just got comfortable with that. And when I realized that enough is enough, I came to you, Doc, and I told you that I had a problem and I really wanted to change it. And I was locked and loaded.
yeah, you sure did. What a lot of people don't understand. I want to share this with you guys too. Uh, every Sunday, I work with 4 different men. Tony is one of those 4, and within that particular group, every year they are required to get their physicals, their biometric screenings from their doctors. This is a I don't want to call it an order, but it's something that we just do. They all get their physicals, and then we all come back together, and I go over their blood work with each of them. Now, Tony was in a situation where his weight had not become or produced chronic disease in his body yet. So he was to the point to where he wasn't diabetic. He didn't have high cholesterol. His blood pressure was manageable. He didn't have any comorbidities, but it was going to be something that it was eventually going to happen. So Tony was one of the individuals who made the choice to work on himself before it became an issue. A lot of people don't have that liberty. There are a lot of people who are in this particular process. you know you already have an illness. You already have a comorbidity. You're already on some type of prescription medication, and you're already dealing with something. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. So Tony took control of his life and said, hey, I had success before, so I'm going to do it again. And I want us to talk about that. Talk to us now about your current group. What's your group? Talk to us about your leader, what their name, the name of your group, whatever you want to say.
Our leader is Antonio. That's my the coach is Antonio White, and the leader is Gerald.
Yeah.
The name of our group is called Fit for Kings, and we for week 1 I lost 15 pounds, and week 2 I lost 12.8 pounds.
So all in, what are you now?
27.8 down.
In 14 days. How do you feel about that?
Man, I feel amazing, man. I told you this morning, I feel amazing. Um,
Talk to us.
it
Talk to us specifically about every difference within your body that you felt over these last 2 weeks. Because I want you to be as specific as possible. Tell me everything that you felt change in your life in 2 weeks.
um a couple of things. So as we so as we talk, me and you had talked earlier.
Yeah.
I feel myself getting up early in the morning. Even if y'all know Dr. Joe is an early bird, he'll call me in the morning and I feel more energetic when I get up. I feel like, I get on my Peloton and I ride 30, 45 minutes. And it's not where I'm out of breath, where I can't breathe.
Yeah.
My knees, when I walk, were hurting. My back was hurting. It doesn't hurt anymore. I can go up the stairs with ease. Uh, and I walk a lot. Yeah. So my joints feel better altogether. I mean, it's just so much that
Yeah.
I feel, and I'm thankful to God that I'm able to be that. But I think one of the things that really has resonated with me more so than anything, I've been getting some amazing sleep. Like I
Mm-hmm.
sleep much better since that weight is off. I'm not waking up, as far as where I'm not feeling comfortable where I want to go to sleep. I go to sleep earlier, wake up earlier. So it's amazing to me.
Now, I want to tell you something directly, and as I'm speaking to you on this, Tony, from my experience, I also want to speak to the 720 of you all who are watching us live. And I want everybody to listen to this. Whether you're in the process, whether you're not, you may be on your own process, doing whatever. I want you to listen to this. The key to staying in the race of this weight loss personal transformation journey, T, is to fall in love with how good you are feeling. If you don't remember anything else I tell you, that's why I asked you, go down the list. You said I have more energy. I get up earlier. I can get up and down the stairs. My mobility is better. I'm sleeping better. I'm feeling better. And not just that, but your countenance is better. It's like that haze that was over you. We talked about this it's like the veil has been lifted. You got a different smile. When I called you the other day, you got a pep in your voice that wasn't there. These are the trophies that we talked about. And see, what you want to be mindful of, T, as you're going through this, you keep that in the forefront of your mind. I don't ever want to go back to where my knees hurt. I don't want to ever go back to where I don't have energy. I don't ever want to go back to where I had difficulty sleeping. I don't ever want to go back to where I felt like I wasn't in control of myself. I want you to keep that in mind because, see, all of those things that you listed, you manifested that yourself. You did that yourself. You worked, you sacrificed, you put in the work, you put in the discipline. You did that. So it's kind of like one of those things. I just want you to kind of keep how you're feeling in mind and never give it away. You see what I'm saying? Keep
Yes.
doing what you need to do so you can keep on holding on to all of those great things, because all the things, T, that you listed are things that money cannot buy. There are folk right now couldn't give $1 billion to not be in pain when they walk or to sleep better. There's people who would pay God knows what to sleep better. So what you got to think about is you've been able to manifest priceless jewels in your life. and you want to keep that in the forefront of what keeps you in it. So I want you to keep that in mind, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're 27 pounds down. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Number
sir.
one. Let's go back to pre-work. When we started on the 6th of March, did you feel like you were ready?
Yes, sir. I knew I was ready this time. I knew that, with the pre-work, with going going through this process and knowing this your last time, you got to be locked in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
What?
listened. Go ahead. I
Go ahead.
listened to two things. One was weighing my food. Two was, of course, I know how to meal prep, and the meal prep was the key to your success. I feel like that if you don't properly meal prep, the first thing you'll do is try to grab something from a fast food joint, which you can't do and you should not supposed to do, but that's what people do. But um that weighing that food has been the difference. That and truly staying with the meal prep, and this has been my best friend. Drinking that water. I mean, getting that water in, it's flushing you out, and but that weighing that food, and y'all, I tell you this, on the first journey that I went through, my accountability partner was the man that's on the screen with y'all. So I had
Yep.
to send him all my meals,
Sure did. Yeah.
250 to be exact. And
Sure
so,
did.
but now I've learned to know how to, you don't have to get up to the 400 calories and you still going to be full. You still going to be comfortable. You can get 283. A meal for me would be 283, 300, and I'm good. So that's one of the things about that I've learned. And the other thing is burning the calories with the 400. If you don't believe me and watch. Because I'm telling you, it can happen. This week, I got on my Peloton 4 days out of the week and I played tennis one day. But I was burning anywhere from 350, 400. And when I played tennis, I burnt about 600. So it's something that if you stay consistent with it, the weight's gonna come off. You eat right, protein, carbs, and fats. Stay under those 400 calories. And if you reach 300 and something, you good. You ain't gonna die.
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and just get on that bike and you good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's such a great point. I'm reading a lot of people's posts and comments that they're making about how you about what you're saying, how it's resonating with them. That's great. What is there a lesson or something that you learned in the pre-work that helped you more than anything else? If you had to say, I don't want to put you on the spot, but just a question.
Um, Pre-work more so is this. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Yeah.
And stay ready meaning that you're not trying to prepare. I meal prep twice a week. So if I stay on top of that, I make that a priority that I have to do. On Sunday nights and on Wednesday or Thursday, I'm meal prepping. I get on the
All right.
grill.
Now let's this is good because it's one thing, and I don't take offense to this. It's kind of like when your parents tell you something, you don't listen to them, but somebody else says something and it's great. I've been drilling this, and folk will just listen and then they don't listen, and I get it. But tell us what a prep. You are a professional man. You got a daughter. You got you have a job. You got a business. You got a full life. What do your meal prep days look like? Talk to us about what day of the week. I want to hear when you go to the store. Talk to us about that because that's how we're gonna learn.
All right, so a day with me would be like going to the store. I go to a couple of places. I go to Sprouts and I go to Whole Foods and I go to Publix. But those three places I'll go. Now, I'll go. My favorite friend is Miss Dash.
Mhm.
No salt, no. I use pepper, but no salt or anything else. But Miss Dash that's I say that's my girlfriend. But I would, prepare my meals. I'll go and get different things, spinach or my lettuce, and I would go to Costco's and I would get my um, containers. Set the containers on the counter. Put my lettuce and different things in there. I set that aside. Then I prep shrimp, salmon, chicken. I'm a grill master. My nickname is Chef T Money. But I get out on that grill. I stay on the grill
Hmm.
probably. Now this is the key.
Hmm.
What Dr. Joe is saying, it's all about sacrifices. I've been on that grill at night at 11 and 12 o'clock to make sure that I had my meals prepped for the next morning. So when I get up in the morning, I have a 9 o'clock staff meeting. It's grab and go. I pull my omelet out. I pull my yogurt out, and I'm pulling it out to say it's packed up. All I gotta do is put it in my little bag that I carry, and I'm ready to go. I got 3 meals to go. So that means I have 9 hours to. I eat the first one, and if I'm gone for 9 hours, then I still won't miss a meal. But that's basically the sacrifice as far as like cooking. You got to stay on top of it. If you don't stay
Yeah.
on top of it, you won't be successful.
Listen, there's some key things that you all said that he said. I want to kind of reiterate what he said that's important to y'all. Number one, the importance of measuring that food, the water. He said that. The exercise. He said that. Meal prep. He said that. Consistency. He said that. You get those five things, you're going to get not just results, you're going to get phenomenal results. All of y'all who are having issues, you're not doing any or all of those. Okay. So that's some excellent news. So here we are, T. We are 2 weeks in. We're heading into week three. What is on the horizon for Byron Antonio Harper? What do you want to see from yourself? It doesn't necessarily have to be a certain weight unless you want to say it, but what do you really want to see manifested in your life by the end of this process? What do you want? Let's go ahead and speak it.
I want a new Tony. I want a new me. I know that you know I can do it. I can push myself. When a person tells me something that I can't do, it drives me to do more to do it. Um, my ultimate goal, and I'll just be transparent. I
Yeah.
want to lose 70 to 75 pounds in this process. That's my personal goal. If I don't hit that goal, I'm still gonna push for it. But that's my ultimate goal because I know that if you exercise, you eat right, and you do everything that Dr. Joe says to do, it can be done. I mean, you can. That's like averaging 10 to 12 pounds a week, but it can be done. I've seen people do 10 or 12 pounds on the last week,
Yeah.
where the first week you really don't count that because you're gonna detox, and part of
Yeah.
that is the water weight that's coming off of it. But this is where it's really going. Your foot hit the road.
The rubber hit the road right now. You're 100% correct. And well, I want to bid you success. I believe in you. I believe you can. I think you're going to have a great experience. I also believe that you have learned from your stumbles, and I want you to know that your stumbles weren't in vain because I believe that you saved someone in this group on tonight by learning from your mistakes, so they don't have to make them themselves. So, thank you for being my guest. I love you, man. But before we go,
Love you. Yes, sir.
I want to talk about your business. Talk
Yes,
to
sir.
us. Do you have any cufflinks? You got anything nearby? Ties? Anything?
I'm wearing it. My glasses. I got my
All right.
necklace.
Talk to us. Talk to us. All right. All right. The first thing, I want you to tell them the type of things that you sell.
Well, my services is I sell eyeglasses. I sell necklaces. I sell bracelets. Like this right here. I sell bracelets, men and women. Cufflinks, ties. I do personal shopping. I do consultations. So, I come in, clean out your wardrobe, and really basically show you, and you have to really truly believe in what I'm telling you. I'm an expert at what I do. I've been doing this for 33 years, so I know, and I've dressed of them. Entertain ball players, doctors, lawyers, you name it.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I just explained to a person, I can truly, and you're gonna need a makeover, because when you lose this weight, you're gonna need somebody to come in and change
You
your
better make
wardrobe,
your
because your
pitch.
life is gonna change. You can't wear that big
That's
clothes.
that's a pitch right there. Make your pitch, boy.
Yeah, but I'm a game changer, and I'm willing to work with anybody, male or female. I'm willing to do it, because the key to it is, when your clothes fit better, you look good, you feel good, you're gonna produce well. And
Yeah,
that's my motto.
yeah, yeah. So whenever y'all see me, my cufflinks, all my tie combinations, handkerchiefs, that all comes from T. Um, he does glasses. So ladies, you want to get your man something nice. I support him. I've been knowing him since I was 13 years of age. So T, let them know how they can get in contact with you.
I have two telephone numbers. One telephone number is for Harper's Custom Clothes, Harper Signature Styles. It's 770
Hold on one
seven
second.
six five.
Hold on. Our signature close, right?
Harper
770.
Signature Styles.
Oh, hold
770
on. Styles. 770. Okay.
765
765
7622.
7622. All right. Here we go. Harper Signature Styles. 770 765 7622. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And if
All
they
right.
and they can't reach me on that, the 770-595-9740.
Okay. Talk to us about your socials.
My socials are Antonio Harper.
Mhm.
My That's Facebook. My IG is Tony Harper 0804,
Okay.
and I can be reached on either one of those.
All right. So you got Antonio Harper 0804 is Facebook. And
No,
what
Antonio Harper, just period. And
Antonio Harper is Facebook and
yes, sir.
Instagram is what?
Tony Harper 0804.
Tony Harper 0804. And you got his information, Harper Signature Style 770-765-7622. T Money, thank you, man, for being my guest.
All
You've
right.
been a great guest. Congratulations. Keep on
Thank you,
pressing,
sir.
Doc, and we all proud of you. And I speak for everyone who's in the group. Thank you
All
for
right.
being a guest. All right. Peace,
Take
man.
care.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Tony Harper, Byron Antonio Harper. What an amazing, amazing village chat. Salute to him. Salute to his amazing coach who was handpicked. When I called Steph, I said, Steph, I need your best. She says, I got one for him. Shout out to Coach Antonio. Shout out to Leader Gerald. Shout out to Fit for Kings, that group. Y'all are doing a great job. Salute to each of you. Great conversation. A couple things I want you all to know. Tony brought up a lot of great nuggets. Jules, you probably going to need to go back and watch this entire presentation again because that's how good it was. We're just going to probably need to do that. All right. He said something that's very, very important. The rubber hits the road now, gang. This is really when we're going to start making headway. All of what's happened the last 2 weeks is good and great. But at the end of the day, this next 4 weeks is going to be where the gravy is. It's going to be where the winners are going to thrive. It's going to be where the cream is going to rise to the top. All the tear, all the folk who weren't serious, all the people that's inboxing me crying, can I get back in? I forgot. All of that is behind us. All right. All right. We moving forward. To those of you all who are not in this process, we look forward to working with y'all in the future. The way you are a part of this process is it's invite only. You don't find us, we find you. However, there are opportunities to be a part of future groups, but you'll have to stay connected on our social media sites. If you haven't joined our social media sites, you can do so on Instagram at Journey Life TV, as well as Facebook at Journey Life TV. All right. This upcoming week, I'm going to have a special masterclass. It's called Ancient Biblical Nutrition and How It Applies to Modern Times. It is an all new masterclass. I consider it a bonus. All right. I'll be teaching that this week. I'll let you guys know when and how you'll be able to get that content for those of you all who are within the village. 2, I'll be live in the morning at 7:30 a.m. I'll be going over your weekly review and performance analysis, 7:30 a.m., and it'll stream live within each of the groups. If for whatever reason it changes, I'll be certain to let you know. But now I'm focused to go live at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for your presence on today. I'm glad to see so many of you all watching us live. Once again, to my amazing guest, Byron Antonio Harper, it was a joy and pleasure to speak with you on tonight. Love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you first thing in the morning in our village, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Peace.